Welcome back. Novel for us. We've never combined Tony Bachman, who is the keynoter for the Report Card Show, with Butch Warrington, and also Jodi Schwan. What'd you learn this morning?
Well, that was fun. I think the whole thing about trying to give perspective and what you do here with your show, I think it just is very helpful for the community and just the surrounding area, because your voice travels a long ways. It's not just Sioux Falls, and it's around the multi-state area. But I think when you have someone like Jodi who spends so much time investigating what's going on and with the companies that are coming in, I mean she's really an authority and someone to go to. And I follow what she has going on in her blog and her Facebook posts, that sort of thing. And then Butch, of course, I mean, he's right in the thick of it of what's going on. I mean, actually, you'd like to have Butch take him aside and say, okay, so what other top secret stuff you have coming up? Because I know he's probably been sworn to secrecy, with some of this. But, I think these numbers, when it comes to the building permits and that sort of thing, I think they would even be higher if we had, and Jodi and Butch had alluded to it, is, our infrastructure, we're limited at this point when it comes to development. And,
absolutely.
And we can put the infrastructure in and it just takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. But, we have this perfect storm with COVID that came in. We also, as a community, got to that 250,000, population mark, in our surrounding community. And it's kind of a known fact that when a community gets to be, somewhere around 250,000, 250,000, all of a sudden they have like this incremental growth that happens very quickly. And I think it's something to term about 50,000 people in a real short period of time. Well, now you add that with COVID, and when all of a sudden now South Dakota's been put on the map, I mean, nationally, because I'm looking at some of the, national blogs, that sort of thing. And when you go to visit someplace, you go to talk and you say you're from South Dakota, people's eyes light up and they're like, oh, we love South Dakota. We've never been there. We're going to go there. And, and I've had many phone calls that I've, fielded from investors and from families that have said, we're really giving some thought to moving to South Dakota. Can you share some information with us? So, trends wise, we're going to continue to see this. I think the building permit numbers, we're going to continue to see all these numbers continue to increase. $1 billion is very, very possible. Just depends if
who'd have thought
a guerrilla project comes in and maybe we surpass the $1 billion mark, but that's an amazing, amazing number. And I think it's to the credit of not only our local governmental leaders, but also to our business leaders who are very focused. And I think they have everybody's best interest at heart. So I think that we continue this trend. We're just going to see amazing things happen, for our community and South Dakota in general.
Now, let's talk a few numbers. One of those, how well you did last month, the number of people that were involved. Your cost of waiting calculator that we introduced, I called it the cow.
Yeah,
I thought John Mollison was going to throw an udder at me or something. But,
no, we love the cow because it's kind of it's one of those things that's got a little hook. But yeah, the cost of waiting calculator.
But if we go back to some of the things people are saying, well, what happens if we go back to 2008 as far as the values of this? Your thought is the numbers that you have pulled up, that you're sharing with us for the first time this morning, indicate you don't see that happening in a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road.
No. I mean, I think so. Our community has changed. We're no longer like a smaller rural community. I mean, even though Sioux Falls is a city, when we go back to that, 2008, I mean, I'm just going to grab we were approximately like 120 or 30,000 people. Well, now all of a sudden we're double that. And when you have that much population, there's demands, there's needs, there's companies that are like, hey, this is a great place to be. We have the interstate systems that are right here. We have this airport that is amazing that they've done such a great job with. And again, that's all credit to the business leaders and to the governmental leaders that have done such great things for this community. Well, and like I just mentioned, with COVID doing what they've done, what's happened there, it's put South Dakota on the map in a big way. And we have people coming. And I mean, I've had conversations last week with two major investors that, just happened to call up and said, if you know of anything that's coming up, and we're not talking about them investing in a couple 100,000. I mean, they're looking at $2 million plus projects type of thing. So my comment to any developers or builders, that sort of thing, taking a page out of a movie, is if you build it, they'll come. Now we just have to find places to build. But so 2008 to now, I mean, our numbers are just about double, when it comes to average. And then I did pull up a stat, and this is the part
the median numbers.
Yeah,
These are the numbers that I thought were really very unusual.
Yep. And so median price numbers, I mean, and I looked at, because the comments we're getting is like, when's this going to collapse? And I understand, we start talking about 2008, and, where some people got hurt financially, that sort of thing. Not going to happen. We don't see that many foreclosures because even if someone hasn't been making their payments because of loss of job or, something medical, well, now with that, they have so much equity in their houses, even if they haven't made payments for 6 months, they still have enough equity. There's not going to be a short sale. It's not going to be a foreclosure. But let me throw out these numbers here real quick. And this is why part of the reason we developed this cost of waiting calculator is that, so current median price right now, and we don't have June's numbers, so I'm going.
This is Sioux Falls only.
Correct. Yep. And so I'm using in May, the median price was about $255,000, which is pretty high. Well, they're projecting that the median price in like 2026 is going to be about $271. And so this is that point where Jodi asked, are we going to continue to see this? I think we're going to see things level off a little bit, so it's not quite so radical, and so people kind of get used to this. But 2031, so we go 10 years from now, they're looking at that median price at about $311. So this is the point where you have
something happens to your mindset when it crosses from 2 to 3.
Right. And I think that with like the millennials, who are the largest purchasing group for real estate, because this is what I'm, we're basically talking to, that group. Yes, we have baby boomers and these other groups that are, they're looking at either making lateral moves or cashing in on their equity and that sort of thing. But to the people who are, on the sidelines thinking, is now a good time to buy? Yes, interest rates being what they are. And then also we're just going to see continued appreciations. And we don't know. I mean, the projection of appreciation has been approximately about 7 or 8%. Whereas the average appreciation that we've seen in the past real estate markets is approximately 4%. So we're seeing appreciations to be about double of what, we're normally used to. So yeah, to that point, we're in a very exciting economy market. There's a lot of, leaders, business leaders and our community leaders that are doing everything they can to try to keep up and make this a fantastic community for people.
Unusual weekend with the holidays. With the fact that we had the 4th on a Sunday. Monday was a day off for a lot of people. Did we have a lot of people that were looking this weekend?
To be honest, I didn't. This is the part that was kind of a nice respite because it seemed like everybody kind of said, hey, let's take some time. Yes, there was some phone calls, that sort of thing, but it wasn't to the effect of what it normally was. Because I think there was a lot of people that were just...
They didn't have to do it today.
They were going to observe the holiday and just relax and enjoy their their families and friends and that sort of thing. So, bravo to them. And I was glad that we had a chance to spend that time. But now here we are Tuesday morning ramping up, and let's get on that train and go.
We'll have the report card show next Monday.
Yes.
Practice your numbers. Get new numbers. Get them updated. Make sure the video camera is working well.
Yep.
Tony Bachman, appreciate you setting in, helping us set the record straight for the next 10 years.
Thanks for having me, Bill.